Most women do not know why they are attracted to a certain man, they just feel it. And if you are the kind of man who is constantly being ignored, friend-zoned, or brushed aside, it is because you are failing to trigger that feeling. Here is the truth you were never taught. The single greatest obstacle standing between you and the attraction you seek is the belief that you must be nice. You have been told to be polite, to be respectful, to be available. And while there is nothing wrong with being a good man, you have misunderstood the nature of attraction. Nice does not create a spark, it creates comfort. And comfort is the currency of the friend zone. Women do not choose a partner based on manners. They choose based on how a man makes them feel. When you are constantly playing it safe, being agreeable, and avoiding any form of tension, you are broadcasting a subconscious signal, a signal that says, I seek your approval. Please like me. This energy does not pull her in. It pushes you away. The problem is not that you are kind. The problem is when your kindness becomes passive, boring, predictable. Women want a man who is kind, but also bold, a man with a spine, a man who is not afraid to be real. Stop performing for her approval. Attraction is not earned through politeness. It is sparked through presence, through tension, and through unapologetic honesty. This is the first and most critical shift you must make. That fire, fueled by years of dismissal, did not burn wildly. It burned with a cold, focused intensity. It found its home not in angry words, but in an old, renovated warehouse downtown. The home of my company, NeuroSync. For 3 years, this was my sanctuary and my battlefield. 18-hour days were the norm, fueled by cheap coffee and the echoing voice of my father in my mind. Useless girl, you were never the bright one. Every line of code, every late night, was an act of rebellion against that narrative. This is the part of the story most people never see. The silent war, fought in the lonely hours when the world is asleep. If you understand this fight, if you have ever felt that fire yourself, support this mission, hit the like button, and subscribe for more stories of strength and resolve. Let us know in the comments, what are you currently building in silence? The final test of my work came in a sterile conference room, an investor meeting with Westlake Ventures. They questioned my technology, comparing it to our main competitor. I responded with the calm certainty of a warrior who knows her blade. They can tell you what a customer did yesterday, I explained. Our algorithm can tell you what they will do tomorrow. 2 hours later, we had a deal, a funding round that would value NeuroSync. At $90 million, my phone rang. It was my mother, reminding me about my father's retirement party. Maybe you can bring those cookies you used to make, she said. In one world, I was a $90 million CEO. In another, I was still just the girl who brings the cookies. That was about to change. The storm did not arrive with a gentle rain. It arrived like a thunderclap. Forbes, the Wall Street Journal. The announcement of our $90 million funding round went public before I could tell them myself. My phone began to vibrate, an unrelenting flood of messages, but from my parents, only silence. I called them. My father's voice was cold. I suppose you think we'd be impressed, he said, making a show in the business pages. His words still tried to belittle me, but in that moment, I understood. You cannot reason with a narrative that has been cemented for 30 years. You cannot ask it to change. You must shatter it. Sunday, his retirement party. The old Olivia would have walked in quietly, hoping for a nod of approval. But the old Olivia was dead. I stepped out of my new Jaguar F-Type. It was not subtle. It was not meant to be. Eyes turned. Conversation stopped. The power in the yard began to shift before I had even spoken a word. My mother saw me, her greeting freezing on her lips. "Olivia," she managed, "you look different." I looked like a woman they did not know. A woman they could no longer dismiss. The whispers started to spread. $90 million, Forbes, CEO. They had spent a lifetime making me invisible. So I had decided to become a sight they could never, ever ignore. The old frame was breaking. The real conversation was about to begin. The whispers followed me for the rest of the afternoon. The old narrative was dying, replaced by a new one forged in the pages of Forbes and the gleam of a Jaguar. My father remained by the grill, a silent observer of this new world order. Eventually, he tapped his glass for a speech. He spoke of his career, then turned to his children. "I'm proud of Nathan," he said, and the crowd applauded. "And Olivia," he continued, his voice faltering, "just for a moment, who apparently has been quietly building something none of us fully understood." The yard was silent. Every eye was on him, on me. "I always said she was the emotional one," he added. "It seems I may have underestimated how far that could take her." It was not an apology, but it was something more important. It was a crack in the foundation of his reality. A public acknowledgement that the frame he had built for me no longer fit. Later that night, I found him alone. "I don't understand it," he finally admitted, "this tech stuff. You don't need to understand the technology, Dad, just understand that I built something valuable, and in that moment, standing in the empire I had built, I finally felt it, not victory over him, but freedom. From the lifelong need for his approval, I was Olivia Reed, CEO, architect of my own success. And no one would ever call me useless again. You have learned to flirt with confidence, to own the energy you bring. But now, you must master a tool that is even more powerful than words, a tool that most men fear: silence. The average man rushes to fill every gap in a conversation. He believes that silence is awkward, a sign of failure. So he rambles, he over-explains, he fills the air with noise. Hoping to keep her entertained, he does not realize that in his haste, he is communicating insecurity. A Stoic understands that true power is found not in noise, but in stillness. He is comfortable in silence because he is comfortable with himself. His inner world is not a chaotic place he needs to escape. When you learn to use silence, it becomes your strongest weapon. It creates tension, the good kind. In that quiet moment, as you hold her gaze without rushing to speak, she feels your presence on a deeper level. She begins to wonder what you are thinking. It signals absolute control. A man who is secure in himself does not feel the need to perform. He is not chasing validation. He is simply present, grounded. And it gives your words immense weight. When you speak less, and with more purpose, every word you utter lands with the force of a hammer. So, do not fear the pauses, own them, let a moment breathe. Let your presence speak louder than your words. The man who has mastered silence is a man whose every word is heard, and whose presence is felt. You have mastered silence, your presence is a force. But a man who is only present, only calm, can still be perceived as passive. Now, you must learn to wield your presence as a challenge. The average man is terrified of conflict. He is focused only on being liked, so he agrees, he nods. He shrinks himself to fit her expectations, hoping this will earn her favor. It will not. It will only earn her comfort and her contempt. A Stoic understands that true respect is not born from constant agreement. It is forged in the fire of contrast, in the tension between two strong frames. Women do not want a pushover. They want a man who can challenge them. Not with aggression, but with the quiet strength of his own convictions. When you challenge her, you are showing her that you are not just another man seeking approval. You are showing her that you have your own opinions, your own standards, your own unshakable world. And you are not afraid to stand your ground. This does not mean being argumentative. It means not automatically agreeing just to keep the peace. It means teasing her playfully when the moment is right. It means having standards not just for who you are attracted to, but for the kind of energy you allow in your space. When you challenge her, you flip the dynamic. Instead of you chasing her approval, she begins to seek yours. That shift in energy builds a powerful, lasting attraction. One that is based on mutual respect, not just one-sided validation. Pleasing her might make you seem nice. Challenging her makes you a man she will never forget. You have learned to challenge her, to be the forge of respect. But a challenge delivered with too many words loses its edge. The final layer of mastery is not in what you say. It is in what you don't say. The average man talks too much. He fears silence. He believes that a constant stream of conversation will make him seem more interesting, more confident. But he is mistaken. He is rambling, overcompensating, watering down his own presence. It is a signal of insecurity. A Stoic understands that his words have weight, and for words to have weight, they must be scarce. He is selective. He is purposeful. He does not speak to fill the air. He speaks to make an impact. The man who is confident does not feel the need to entertain. He is comfortable in the quiet moments, letting his presence do the work. This restraint creates curiosity. It makes your every word land with the force of a hammer. It shows you value your own thoughts, and therefore, she begins to value them too. These are not just 7 ideas, they are a code. A way of being that separates you from the crowd. You do not need cheesy lines or a fake personality. You need awareness. You need to drop the habits that make you look like every other man trying to win her over. And start showing up as the man she is not used to meeting. If this philosophy resonates with you, if you are ready to embody this strength, then join us. Subscribe to this channel. This is where we learn to stop settling and start rising. The journey has just begun.